Write a quadratic function in standard form that passes through each set of points. Standard form is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. On the equation in standard form that passes through each set of points. So on the first one, -2, 0, and 5, 0. I want to plot those 2 points on my graph up on the television screen. What kinds of points are those? On which axis would -2, 0, and 5, 0 be located? The x-axis. Aren't we given the x-intercepts? Okay, so given the x-intercepts, I can quickly write this in factored form. So we get -2 back to 0. What do you have to do? You have to add it. If I plug in -2 for x, Brighton, does that make this whole factor into 0? Is -2 plus 2 0? Absolutely. Do the same thing for the next 0, Rose. What number plus 5 makes 0? Makes 0.
Wait, well, to get from 5 to get back to 0, you just -5.
Done. Put a -5 right there.
Oh my.
Okay. This expression should have zeros at -2 and at 5. If I plug in 5 for this, what's 5 minus 5? 0. And is 0 times anything else always going to make 0? Okay. How about -2? If I plug -2 into the first factor, what's -2 plus 2? 0. And 0 times anything would always still be 0. Plugging in 5 or -2 would make the whole thing into 0. If I put that up on the screen, there's our green parabola that passes through those 2 points. Rather than giving you the expression, I was given the intercepts, and I wanted to go backwards and find the equation to match. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. Now let's put it in standard form. I want to put it in standard order from biggest power to smallest power. So let's start multiplying. Just review from our last unit. X times x, Rory.
X squared.
All right. X times -5 is obviously -5x. 2 times x, and 2 times -5 is -10. Simplify it, Izzy. What's it going to be in standard order? What can I combine?
Oh, -5x. 2x.
Which would make what?
-3x.
So when I graph that expression, y equals x squared minus 3x minus 10, would it still pass through the same points? Look up on the screen.
Yeah.
I added the purple parabola, y equals x squared minus 3x minus 10. Did it pass through the same 2 coordinates I was given first? The green parabola in factored form and the purple parabola overlay on top of each other. They just coincide. It's the same graph in different forms, in standard form and in factored form. Let's try a couple more. I've got another set of points for number 2. I want to write the equation of the quadratic function that passes through 0, 0, and through 3, 0. So what goes inside those 2 quantities? Take a second, write it down. Write the correct factors for x-intercepts of 0 and 3. Got to make it back to 0. What do you have to do to 0 to turn it into 0? What must be added or subtracted to 3 to get it back turned to 0? What'd you put here, Zoe? X plus 0. What do you have to add to 0 to turn it back into 0? Nothing. It's already 0, right? What do you have to do 3? X minus 3. Now, I could simplify that a little bit. Does adding 0 to a number change it at all? Does adding 0 to x change it? No. Let's just write it as x times x minus 3. Put that up on the television screen here. Y equals x minus 3. There it is. Looks like my green parabola passed through the 2 points that I was asked to pass through. Put it back in standard form, so let's just practice multiplying like we did in our last unit. X times x is x squared minus 3x. Say again, Brendan?
Why is the vertex changing?
Because you're changing the intercepts?
Yeah, but like, why is it going up and down? Is that like?
What do you mean by going up or down?
Like, could you change that?
So that it always opens up or always opens down?
Yeah, like, could you change it to where it's like instead of 2, it'd be 4? Like on the graph.
Like if I was right here?
Yeah.
So if I put a constant out in front, some a value, and move that slider up or down, it would change how the parabola opens, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't that a value control how the graph opens either up or down?
Yeah.
Where did you go back? But are the intercepts changing, right?
No. No, yeah.
No matter what the a is,
Change.
it just keeps 0, 0, and 3, 0 as the 2x intercepts. Yeah, it just controls how stretched or pulled apart the graph becomes, whether it's opening up or down, like you said. Absolutely. Okay. Let's do another one. Only x-intercept is at negative 4, 0. What's got to go inside our first factor?
X plus 4.
X plus 4. How about the next factor? Did I give you another intercepted 0? I want it to go, that would give me another x-intercepted 0, because x plus x is 2x again. Let's put it at negative 4, 0. And let's think here, y equals quantity x plus 4. What's got to go inside that next quantity? If I put anything different in there, wouldn't it give me another x-intercept that's different than negative 4? So what has to go back inside the next factor?
Same thing.
Same thing. If I put anything else other than x plus 4, won't I introduce another x-intercept?
Yeah.
And I want the only x-intercept to be negative 4, 0. Look up on the screen. Does the parabola only touch the x-axis at the x-intercept of negative 4, 0? Okay. Negative 4, 0 is also known as what? The vertex. Absolutely. When I only have one x-intercept, doesn't the vertex have to be the point where it touches the x-axis? Otherwise, it's going to pass through twice and give us more than one x-intercept. I have to repeat the same quantity again so that I only have one unique x-intercept. And we'll just multiply it back together to put it in standard form.
So what if it only gave you what if the only y-intercept is,
Only intercept?
what if those y-intercept?
I could have lots of parabolas that only have one y-intercept. Every parabola has to have one y-intercept. Exactly one. X times x is x squared. X times 4 is 4x. 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times 4 is 16. Simplify it one more time, Bryden. What can I combine?
4x.
4x and 4x makes what?
8x.
Graph that up on the television. It should be the same exact parabola. X squared plus 8x plus 16. Still keeping the negative 4 comma 0 as our only x-intercept. Okay. Number 4. Last set of points to write a graph for. It's got to have negative 1, 0 and 2/5 comma 0 as the x-intercept. I want to write the equation that passes through these two x-intercepts at negative 1 and 2/5 comma 0. So write it in factored form first. Start with the negative 1, Izzy. What do you have to do to negative 1 to turn it back into 0?
Add 1.
So x plus 1's got to be in here. That makes sense. This next one's kind of different because it's a fraction, but it's still going to act the same way. What do you have to do to 2/5 to turn it back into 0? Minus 2/5. Right now, that'd be fine. That would be, in factored form, a parabola that passes through those two given x-intercepts. But I have to still multiply that. I still have to multiply it back together to put it in standard form. It's going to be kind of clunky to multiply by 2/5. I'd much prefer to have this as a whole number. So I need to get rid of that fraction. I'm taking 2, dividing by 5 in this fraction. So what's the opposite of dividing by 5? Multiply by what, though?
5.
5. If I multiply 2 divided by 5 times 5, it's going to clear out the fraction. Give me a nice whole number that I can still multiply with back together. So let's multiply by 5. X multiplies by 5, and so does the 2/5 to keep it balanced. What's 5 times x? What's 2/5 times 5? 2/5 times 5? What's going to cancel out? Dividing and multiplying by 5 cancels out to just 2. 2 times 5 is 10, divided by 5 makes 2. When I plug 2/5 into this factor, it's still going to give me 0. When I plug 2/5 into here, it's still going to get it back to 0. 5 times 2/5 makes 2. Minus 2 more gets it back to 0. So now multiply it all back together for standard form. X times 5x, Rose. X times 5x makes what, please?
5x squared.
Good, we're just multiplying it back together. What's x times negative 2?
It's negative 2x.
1 times 5x and 1 times negative 2. (5x squared) minus 2x plus 5x minus 2 is what I got after I multiplied these two factors we built together. Then just simplify it and put it in standard order. 5x squared. What is that? Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. Couldn't think there for a second. Minus 2. Does that pass through the correct intercepts of negative 1 comma 0 and 2 over 5 comma 0? Y equals 5x squared minus 3x plus 2 minus 2. Up on the screen, does that green parabola pass through the 2 points? Yeah. Here's what we multiplied and came up with in green. Passing through negative 1, 0 here on the left, and 2/5 or 0.4 is a decimal